You're recording on local, right?
Yep, sure am, buddy.
All right, let's make it happen. People are coming in. Let's see all the people that have been in here. So when we see people coming in, I like for most of these guys to actually show faces because we're dealing with human beings and we're actually
Sure.
training human beings. So everyone, if you're joining just now, I like to see faces. As you can see, there's the background of Scott is not a green screen. It's actually, it's actually people. It's about a 90 plus agents. And we need to make sure that everyone here pays attention. Everyone here focuses on what's going on. At some point, you're going to listen to all these people go ham into the cold calling campaigns or nurturing campaigns. But don't get distracted because Scott is going to be here making sure that he gives every single golden nugget from this advanced outbound marketing training. And I really wanted to get you guys in here because it's important that you guys also solidify your advanced marketing, outbound marketing skill sets. All right. But also learn it from someone that has a great history doing so. So a little bit of Scott, I want him to, tell him a little bit, but he worked in the timeshare industry and he actually ran a big ass timeshare cold calling campaign. All right. Like he used to run this for several years, and now he's entering the real estate space. He has been in Colombia for a couple of years now, where he started creating and seeing the potential of just by using really good training and really good just development for people, he can take advantage of this and make people killers. And that's what is happening right now. So Scott, man, thank you for being here. Everyone is joining. Open up your camera. I want to see people and I want to see faces.
Me too. Awesome.
Yeah, let's see faces.
Yeah, let's bring it on, guys. And actually, I recognize a couple of names in here, so this is awesome. A lot of people that I've seen and interacted with. So number one, Esteban, thanks for inviting me here to your group. I know that you got an awesome movement going on. Before I kind of talk about some of the affinities that we share, because we have a lot of the same clientele base, just a quick little snapshot on me. I've only been in your guys' vertical for about 2 years. 2 years, February 17th. I saw it as a highly disruptible space. In other words, I felt like from a marketing channel perspective, there really wasn't a dominating force in the cold calling side. And then the people who were doing cold calling, unfortunately, they were kind of like just using traditional people in the VA or VAs in the Philippines or VAs in Egypt. And so I wanted to absolutely turn that on its head and say, hey, listen, let's generate less leads, but higher quality leads, less leads and longer conversations. So that's effectively what we set out to do, was create a little agency, and we do about 2 million outbound dials a week as we speak.
Yeah, I'm excited because I went to visit the office itself, and you see all these people, they all speak really good English, perfect English. Some of them have lived in the United States. Some of them, they have lived in Australia, Canada, whatever that is. And they prefer to live and work for this company and work with Scott because the tremendous culture and the tremendous value that they're providing to, and the training that he has. Now, obviously, he also pays more than the regular one. It's so huge that now he can take all these people that come from customer service oriented jobs and turn them into closers. So today it's going to be huge because now we're going to have customer service oriented animals turn into closer mindset animals, right? When I say animals, I say like beasts. I say like, hey, these people can actually deliver motivated sellers, qualified motivated sellers, and be able to even close them from the very first call. So this is where Scott comes in.
Yeah. And so I appreciate it too. It's kind of awkward, right? Because like it's a whole different group and I don't know what everybody's avatar is, but I'm just going to tell you what our typical client avatar is. So that way those similarities kind of roll over. But I think fundamentally what we've built is something called a fronter closer model. That's what I took from my previous industries. And so I had about a 160 person call center in Fort Lauderdale, Florida 2 years ago. Once I found out about this industry, I was like, boom, I love this mousetrap, pivot, let's go. And in that call center though, what we had established is this model where fronters front, closers close. They both become trained assassins in each one of their roles. There's very, very different objections and rebuttals that a fronter has that a closer never will have, and vice versa, right? And so what we've done is we've made ourselves the fronter of your guys' business model, or of all of our affiliates nationwide's business model, where our fronters are good enough to be closers, but they don't actually close. And that's what I kind of say is like, these guys are better than a lot of my affiliates closers. They just only qualify. Because be honest, more leads, more deals are lost on the first objection than are lost on the last. And like, that's a mantra that we say here. It's like, yo, the reason why some of these wholesalers and investors aren't doing the types of numbers that they want to do is they're losing their deals before they even become leads. So having phone assassins, just ruthless killers, guys and gals, like we have a soccer ball around here. Somebody will bring it to me in a minute. But on every diamond of the soccer ball has got every objection that we hear while we're on the phones. And these guys would literally stand in a circle, will throw the ball, they catch the ball, boom. They have to know the rebuttal right then and there. So it's that type of like relentless pursuit of training these guys stops what a lot of people in this industry have before they come to us, which are heartbeat and a home leads. Like, let's be honest, a lot of you guys and gals probably use VAs in the Philippines or wherever, it doesn't matter. But a lot of times people struggle with cold calling is they're getting a heartbeat and a home lead. The customer's got a heartbeat, they got a home, send that shit over. You know what you just did to your closers? You know what you did? You made your closers a glorified VA. Because when your closers have to go around and clean up underqualified leads, unfortunately, they're now spending time generating leads instead of actually closing deals. And so just at a high level, Esteban, that's what we're trying to do is funnel the leads to make sure they're hyper qualified. They all have a price. They all have a timeline. They all have a motivation, getting a realistic ballpark starting asking price out of every single lead. Like, I'll never send a lead to an affiliate that doesn't have a good ballpark starting asking price. See, somebody brought it to me. So like, how'd you get my number? What's the name of the local investor? Maybe in a couple of months. You should be able to look all this stuff up. Why do I have to keep answering your questions? I want X amount of dollars for the property before we get the price out of them. Why do you think I'm selling my house? I don't know what it's worth. You tell me. So every objection that we could possibly hear, it's on this ball. If you could get your VAs wherever they're at to have this fucking soccer ball down, you would be printing the money. Printing money. Just because the leads are better quality, therefore your closers are talking to more qualified leads and actually making more offers instead of, spending time trying to find the needle in the haystack.
Yeah. So one of the things that, okay, so we have some members that actually use Scott Moore's call center here. I'm not sure if he's right now here. His name is Brandon Hood. But they've went through like having horrible times doing cold calling and just having a terrible experience all the way to like actually using fronters and closer fronter model, closing deals from cold calling and like consistently doing this. And these people are from South America. They're not Americans, they're not Canadians, and they work like as if they are this beast that were born and raised in the United States of America, and they are being trained as a United States of America type of knowledge and training. And actually, I in this call, guys, I think we have one or two people that work in Scott team. At some point, we can talk to them, but just have the expectation that you can ask any questions throughout this entire thing. Scott will at some point present a presentation, some sort of either slides, Google slides, and we will go through some frameworks that he's been able to use in order to make sure that things actually properly are well done and trained. So your callers actually are trained properly and they become these assassins. And you can ask questions throughout the time. Just ask questions in the Zoom chat. Also, we'll have a Q&A right at the end. But everything I want you guys to get is the most amount of value possible and ask questions regarding anything outbound marketing. We're going to cover cold calling. We're going to cover nurturing. We're going to call it follow up. Everything that you guys call lead manager. Scott is going to explain to you guys why he doesn't like lead managers. It's just a nurture model. But it's really interesting. Yes.
So I'm going to do something. And by the way, so Esteban's like, Esteban reached out to me on social a couple of months ago, and instantly, like, we started exchanging like book recommendations. We became buddies. This is for me that when he asked me, he was like, "Hey man, will you just come here and just give?" And so whatever questions ultimately you guys end up having about how to best set up a dialer, training cadences, lead flow, nurture flow, like I'm game for all that. But I'm going to put Brandon Hood on blast real quick because he literally just sent this Slack at 1:26, 30 minutes before he said that. I'm gonna, what screen can you guys see? Can you see this one with Brandon Hood right here?
No, we see a Zen call. We're seeing your juice.
All right, cool. Look at this. So what up, killers? Just wanted to give you a quick first month update to let you know how much your 30 leads, only 2 he couldn't get on the phone, 15 seller appointments, 6 offers, 3 under contract, 82K in profit, 2 additional verbal yeses with a 5-pack for 100K and a sub 2, the cash flow 400. 30 leads, only 2 he couldn't get on the phone, 3 contracts, and a verbal yes for a 5-pack that he's working on. So just because you happen to say the motherfucker's name, and he just happened to send that 30 minutes earlier.
What's up, Scott? Thanks, man.
Is that you? Jesus.
That's me, brother.
Bro,
Scott is turning.
Tell him the sauce.
Scott is turning cold call leads into PPC leads, into like people that are actually motivated to sell and people that are ready to talk to you and everything. So Brandon, he's a sure partner of us, and man, so good having you. I think you're mute.
Yeah, brother. I appreciate you both being on here. Scott, it's been great to really. I know we've been chatting back and forth for about 6-12 months to get this thing kicked off, and month one's been nothing but exceptional. Esteban, like you mentioned, having warm leads, no matter how your process is, it really changes the game. And both of you guys are exceptional at what you do in terms of setting closers up to really just have the real honest conversation with people that are motivated so that they can trust their process and just get on there and get shit done with these people that need your help.
Oh,
sweet.
Dude, it means a lot. You're awesome guy to work with as well too. So, and that's what, even no matter what, like, let's just be honest, like, I won't say names, I could, but I have a major influencer that I was having problems with yesterday. It's because a lot of these guys and gals that are coaching, they're like living off of legacy numbers that they did in 2016, 2018. And now they're so busy selling coaching programs that they're not actually doing deals anymore. And it's like, well, we're not closing deals. It's because you don't have any fucking closers. And so even the greatest leads, you still need good closers. You still need people that are trained and a good system and a good nurture process, et cetera, et cetera. So what I would say, at least from like a high level, is that the way we like to look at this industry, it's almost like a baseball diamond. As a matter of fact, here, let me share this real quick. See if it's going to allow me to do it. It's not.
Let me see if you can. I think you will have permission to. Yeah, I think you can share.
Okay, great. Cool. So this one right here. So this is something our team, I was doing a speech in Miami on this, and I said, man, how can I help people visualize how we were able to break down wholesaling itself? Because I also have my own wholesaling office as well, too. So I have my exclusive markets, and as long as you're not in my exclusive markets, you can be anywhere you want. My little wholesaling team does 50 to 60 deals a month, just ourselves. And one of the things I tell people is like, I would never send an affiliate a lead I wouldn't send myself. And so it's like that caliber, that quality. And so this is kind of our simple breakdown that we did. We said, okay, listen, it's really only 4 steps. First base, and this is what we assist people on, and I'd love to give any help or feedback on this, is like when we look at a new market, and I want to put this in perspective for people who are thinking about going virtual. I'm talking to you from fucking another continent. I'm in Colombia, South America, doing over 50 deals a month. So virtual to me is the way. It is the sauce. It is the truth. And so this is how we help establish exactly what markets we're going to penetrate into and which markets our affiliates should penetrate into. So obviously we do a cash buyer density research. I have now so many analytics coming in from list type performances. Right now, anybody could say a city, a major city, and I could tell you which lists are performing the best, where I would double and triple down on at least on the data side, the acquisition, the skip tracing, and lead lifecycle management. I think one of the things a lot of newbies do is they constantly buy more and more data in the area versus reviewing how it actually performed first and then buying more of what performed best instead of just saying, I'm going to do all absentee. And so the 4 points, if you're writing these down, that we look at is going to be the zip code, the cohort, like absentee, pre-foreclosure, pre-probate, the skip provider, and then the data source. And if you're tracking those 4 cohorts throughout the length of any type of campaign that you're doing, particularly cold calling or SMS, it's going to start telling you exactly what to buy and exactly where to buy. And so I know that there's people out there that are just like, well, I buy 10,000 records at a time, then I buy another 10,000, but you literally can get your instructions from your own data. So like that's first base. This is the data steps. Second base is really what our expertise is, but you can do this in-house as well too. And so this is always weird because I feel like this is one-sided talking, Esteban, so interrupt me anytime you want. But if I wouldn't recommend anybody attempt to hire a guy like me until you've done it yourself. Generated leads from scratch, out of thin air, off of a spreadsheet, pounding on the phones, do it yourselves, period. Then you hire like one VA and you get a couple of deals down. Then you get to 2 or 3, and like right around you get to that second or third VA, you're like, shoot myself in the head. I'm now like managing humans instead of actually generating deals. So second base is either somebody in your office or a VA or ultimately somebody like us, but this is the lead qualification, the callback nurturing, the list sanitization, and your conversion tracking. So pre-conversion nurturing, every time somebody says they're not interested, they go into a 60-day nurture cycle on our side. They're not available, it's 2 days nurture cycle. Listed with a realtor, it's a 45-day nurture cycle. And so we have all these nurture cycles that take place on our end to make sure like we're constantly following up with the customer until it's time for them to actually become a lead, and then they go to the closers. So that's second base. Third base, and it really is just as simple, close the deals. So everybody in here that's a closer, that's you. So like my business model, I was like, fuck it. What if I take all these wholesalers who are trying to do everything? Now you're trying to pull the data and skip the data and where do I buy the data and manage this list, and they're buying skips 5 times over, right? Like they're buying the same address 5 times and skipping it 5 times, right? And then like they're spending all the time calling leads, trying to get a warm person. And now it's like 7:30 at night and they've been on the phones all day and they finally got a warm person, but they're exhausted. So like, I'm going to take first and second base away from everybody in this industry and have you start every day on third base. I'll do your data. I'll do your lead life cycle management. I'll qualify the fuck out of the leads. All you got to do is base 3. And then obviously the most important, which is the home run, which is funding the deals. But like that simple little breakdown, it's like, hey, we got somebody that does data. We have somebody that does qualifying. We have somebody that does closing, and I disposition the deals. That's kind of how we broke down our side of the industry.
This is awesome. Now, obviously, in order for you to build out a 90+ agent operations, you have to have specific frameworks in place to train these guys. And I was able to see exactly how you were able to train these individual people. And you've said it so many times, all these people come from customer service backgrounds, hired by Amazon, hired by Microsoft, hired by all these giants that they outsource to South America or Asia, right? And they come in just with the expectation, oh, this is a cold call job, and I've been dealing with just getting beat up all the time, and don't know exactly how to hold these people and how to actually have an actual framework where you can deal with every rejection, every rebuttal, every type of objection that a seller can come up. And you've said it so many times, and this is beautiful part about this. I love for you to like walk us through those frameworks that has allowed you to really train your individuals. I mean, your guys, 90+ Colombians, to become killers.
Yeah, so I don't know if any of you guys have ever like worked retail before, like especially at Christmas time. Like as a teenager, I worked at a store called Aeropostale, right? Like I fucking hated that job. And anybody who's also ever had like a customer service job over the phone, you hated that job. And the real reason why you hated that job is because you had to bite your tongue. Somebody would come in and be a bit of an ass, and they would be demanding, and yes, sir, okay, no, ma'am, because you'd lose your job. So what I have is people that like the major call center, my major competitor here in town who pays a fraction of what we pay, but they handle all the customer service for Uber Eats, for Target and Nintendo. And so constantly all day, all these Karens that have been shopping at Target that had something that they lost or got screwed up are on the phone yelling. So these guys come in here and they have no phone confidence. In other words, they've just been beat up and beat up and beat up for months. So realizing that as soon as we bring these people on is like, yo, the reason why they don't have as much personal confidence, honest to God, it's because they've had a phone confidence issue for months and months. It's almost like type of syndrome, right? Like they've now adapted to that. And so one of the things that we start working with them on is like just simple stuff like setting goals, like personal goals, giving them books, starting to coach them up, setting guidelines, making sure that they're the highest paid people in the town and they're compensated in high fives. We have a arcade room here. We have ping pong tables, beach balls. Like it's a really good working environment, but it's all built around giving these people self-confidence and teaching them how to talk to people. And then like after like 2 or 3 months, you see them start walking around the office, chest all out, like they got their eagle wings and stuff. So it's cool because you're taking kids who have been stuck and getting beat up and teaching them how to respond to a customer. I don't got time for this. Sir, if you just give me 2 minutes of your time, the information I have for you, I promise you will find valuable. Boom, builds a little bit of confidence. Why are you calling me? You guys are a scam. Boom, hit them with the rebuttal. That gives people confidence. So really the training is what gives them the confidence to stand up for themselves. And as long as they don't come out of pocket first, these guys can say whatever they need to say to silence a guy down. Particularly guys on the phone, these girls are all green light. A guy says something rude, sexual to them, they'll just lay into their asses, lay into them, because I want them to feel good about shutting that stuff down.
That's right, man. And right now, I mean, some of the trainings and some of the mindset shifts started there, like mindset shifts. So I noticed how every single morning you guys have a specific trainings that you do to your callers.
Yep.
And it's kind of like a ritual that actually engraves through time and compounds through time. Yep. So how would here people start really training their current cold callers to just level up and to just get these specific skill sets that will bring qualified people? Because a lot of people here already have VAs or outsourcing VAs and everything, or some of them they don't, and they might need help, someone like you. But how would they start with their people? Like I know that, hey, you have a ginormous enterprise level cold calling a call center, but if someone that is just like in their 6 to 10 deals a month or 2 to 3 deals a month and they have their callers, what will be the first things that we need to start and how they progress?
So a lot of that's training related, but there's a fundamental that happens before that for me, my personal opinion. And that is people don't do what you expect, they do what you inspect. And so accountability is growth. And so every single human being here knows that every word that comes out of their mouth, they're accountable for it. And they know that it's being inspected. So if I had a team and I was trying to motivate, there's really, and you're not like, I'm listening to you so that way I can catch every mistake. I'm listening to you so that way I can improve every opportunity at every opportunity and every turn. And so like one of my disqualifying questions when people call us up and ask for services, I'm like, hey, do you guys record your closer calls? And no disrespect to anybody who doesn't in here, but recording your closer calls is a sign of maturity in your organization. You cannot scale your operation if you don't have insights into how your leads are being treated. And so everybody here knows, and by now we have a big quality assurance team and stuff, but they're there to help and coach. And so a lot of the meetings that we're doing, it's not even like we're having to use our brain. We're just taking the same 2 things that we heard yesterday about an opening sentence, or, you know, a town in Arkansas, or like we just have dealt with a client right now in Detroit. It's a land bank issue. And it's like, to be honest with you, I've actually never trained anybody in my office about a land bank issue. Didn't even know what it was up until just a little while ago. And so, but we're able to educate and help these people because we are just so tight on everything that they're doing. So I'd start there. That's going to give you a lot of your training opportunities, just to make sure that you are listening to them consistently and pulling random calls and chiming in.
So where do you guys start in your training? Like, what are the first things that you guys do in the training for this specific people? Let's say day 0, day 1, and all the way to the weekly recurring stuff. Like, how that can
Yep.
you walk us through some case studies
Yep.
or examples?
Yep. So we have a 120-day gauntlet, like American Warrior, that you got to make it through before you can hit my phones. The first 60 days is all education. The second 60 days is just calling on my account. And if you can make it through calling through my account, then you can hit general population. But day 1, A1, it's really real estate verbiage. Like, you can't, our average qualifying call, to put this into perspective, guys and gals, our average qualifying call is about 15 minutes long. You would never trust a VA to have a 15-minute conversation because they'd screw it up. And so, as crazy as this sounds, like, even though they'll use it once a month, once 2 months, every one of my agents know what the word soffit is. They know what an awning is. They know what a faucet. They know what a gutter. They know what a stud. They know what a shingle is. They know what a shed is. They know what an ADU unit is. And so part of this confidence is them being able to have a conversation and actually having a high-level conversation. And the thing that surprises the sellers, the reason why they're like, this is the best. People call me all the time about my house, but I never made it this far. Like, that's a consistent feedback that we get. It's because our agents are able to have a more in-depth conversation. So we have, and I'll show our old dialer here in a second, because a lot of you guys are probably on Zen call. We've now pivoted to a more enterprise platform, but like, we have tabs. It's not only are they memorizing all those words, but there's also a reference guide there, and there's an objections and rebuttals guide there, and then there's a script in Spanish there, and then there's, like, we make sure they have all these tools. But going back to A1, day 1, it's let's know what the word yard sign means. So that way, when somebody says, "Did you see a yard sign out front? Is that why you calling me?" Like, you literally would blow the deal right there if somebody didn't know what the word yard sign meant. It means, like, hey, I'm not trying to sell my house. Did you see a for sale sign outside? Those simple things.
Oh yeah. Now, obviously, actually, we have a question here by Jesse Bush. Jesse, what's up? You wanna talk about this? I know that.
Yeah. So how's it going, Scott?
Hey, how's it going, Jesse?
Good, man. Good. So I had a question for you. When it comes to when you're starting to try and retrain like the mental mindset so that they have more of a positive outlook on the VAs and things like that, do you feel as though like a daily, like, you know, in most sales organizations, you have a daily team meeting, you know, in the morning. Do you feel as though if you were working with VAs, that's enough? Or does it have to be like an hourly intensive, like an open Slack channel where you're communicating continuously with them?
So, really good question. The answer is almost front end loaded every free minute that you have. And so for sure, a morning motivating meeting is going to be more rah-rah, getting them set for the day. We do, just so you guys can understand our cadence. And again, now we're a little bit bigger now, but so we have our morning meetings. Then we have a post-lunch calibration call that we play for everybody. We've already pre-picked it out. And then everybody's got a piece of paper. And then there's certain points that they're grading on that call. And the person who gets closer to, let's say, my grading of it actually gets to spin a cash wheel. And then we talk about why this person graded it at this level. And we go through it and we offer critique and we offer different incentives, and it really helps to grow. And then any of the underperformers at the end of the day have to spend an extra 45 minutes to an hour here with their team lead in the back room going through their specific calls. And so there really is a tsunami of training. I would say this is that if you took a month or two to build out your own like internal training platform, it would pay the dividends that you can't imagine. Because if you wrote somebody right now and you said, hey, here's a Google sheet that's got questions on there, I don't want to sell right now. And you say, type out your rebuttal. I'm not interested at that price. Type out your rebuttal. Why do you guys always call me? You would be sadly shocked at what their responses would be. But dude, they're only going to hear the same 20 things. So you might as well get them down on those 20, then lay off the training a little bit. So yeah, I would say definitely a little bit more in the morning to give them that confidence to kind of retrain that mental mindset for them.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think mindset here is a big thing that you do starting out. I don't know if you did it when you were like a little bit smaller, but I'm sure you did. But the way that they start out their day, man, it's like they've so fired up. Like right now, there's some people that are here like standing up. Some people that are, even kind of like simulating like a boxing game or something like that. Like they're go to box someone. There are people that are jumping, doing like jumping jacks or something, and they're just ready because they know that what they're dealing is, of course, people that are in some sort of like either don't fucking talk to me or talk to me, but now let's freaking negotiate this to make sure that it makes sense for us to transfer you to your closer. So obviously I noticed this. And by the way, everyone, please just freaking turn on your freaking cameras. I need to see freaking faces here. So everyone,
this is how we launch our morning meetings. Like we got 2 of these eagle masks and we just start screaming and yelling in this motherfucker. Because we want to break them out. And here's another trick that we do for you guys and gals that have actual like sales closers at your office is when my agents walk into the office every single day without fail, there's never been nor will there ever be a day where this doesn't happen. When they walk in on the big TV, there's a YouTube motivational, whether it's Jim Rome, whether it's Robbins, whether it doesn't Ed Milet. There's always something motivational playing in the background, even if it's just subliminal and it makes me happier than it does them. I want to make sure at some point in their life, instead of them always having negativity feed their mind, I want that going. And then all of a sudden we start our day, and as Esteban's saying, we act a fool. We're screaming and yelling. We're talking about the leads from yesterday, the deals from yesterday. We got people running around with eagle masks and lion and eagle wings, and it gets pretty intense in here. But that breaks them out of their shell and makes them love the culture here, which again builds the confidence here, that makes them feel free to grow here. And so it's a good thing. And so for anybody here that has VAs, I would not let them get on the phones to start the day ever without having that calibration for me with them, like Jesse was saying that he does. Like mandatory, without fail, you have to have that type of cadence in place, minimum.
Yeah, even if it's like by having in your SOP, like I know you guys are remote or virtual, you like doing that shit, and it's awesome. But hey, like make sure that your VA like posting your Slack channel, be like, hey, I just turned on my morning motivational YouTube videos and a screen share of that, and then they start doing this. Even if it's like a few minutes or just in the morning, all these little calibrations, now how he calls it, and micro optimizations will make sure that these people start the right way, because at the end of the day, they're in the sales department, right? Closers, they also, if the closer doesn't pick up, he doesn't get conversations with their sellers the entire day, and it's like 3 p.m. and almost the end of the day, and they freaking haven't had a good conversation, a closer also is gonna freaking just feel horrible. Like that's a horrible feeling, right? Like they're not having good leads. So it's the same thing with the callers. Like if they're not having good conversations, or maybe like a somewhat positive one, your cold callers, and they all of a sudden they find someone that could be a heartbeat and they send it, it's really not a good thing to do for your company. And obviously the frameworks and the scripts that Scott uses is meant to last until it is actually qualified to make sense to pass on to your callers. Nothing in your pipeline should be in your pipeline if it is not actually someone that it made sense. And Scott can tell you about this because this is part of the sauce that he definitely, of course, has. But really, like it's about everything. Like for example, whenever we go on Google and if we don't ask them like multiple questions and they don't book an appointment, they might not be as motivated as someone that only give us their address, because they may just be noisy, right? So let's, like Scott, like how are those frameworks when they're picking up the phone, they have a dialer going in? What are those frameworks that your callers actually go through in order to truly qualify a lead?
Yeah, I don't mind sharing it as well too. I'll share with you guys what our lead capture form looks like And the reason why I think it matters is because it's, you know, it's one of these things too. It's in depth enough at this juncture that very few people can replicate it. Here, I just wanted to pull it up. But it sets the stage for everything. And then I'd love to demo our ZenCall account. Even though we're not on ZenCall anymore, I spent many months making that bad boy great. So this is our intake form. So all of these agents here, and so in this office, there's close to 80 something here in this office, and then 7 doors down, we have about another 60. But this is just the call center side here. But so first name, last name, phone, backup phone, city, state, zip. We always like to know if they're a Spanish speaker or not. General notes on the seller. Then the property details, right? And so like one of our rebuttals states, it says, well, can't you just get this information online? Why are you asking? But we still want to verify, right? Like we want to talk to them. Did they have an addition? Did they knock down a wall? Is what they're calling a bedroom actually a converted garage that doesn't have a closet or a window? And so we're having these types of conversations. So that way when the closer gets on the phone, like he legitimately knows exactly what it is. Garage, pool, general condition of the property. This is where we spend the most amount of our time, team. And the reason why is this is the rapport building of our section. So for any of you guys who are doing virtual closing or virtual fronting, so again, all we're talking about today is my fronting model. We're not talking about our closers. But virtual fronting, we still, when we built this rapport with the seller, okay, Mr. Seller, now let's just say I walked up to the front door right now, knocked on the front door, you opened it up, I got to shake your hand, you invited me in. What's that very first room that we're going to see? Well, that's my living room. Oh, great. So we walk into the living room, and what kind of flooring is it? Well, it's linoleum, but underneath of it is wood. And okay, cool. And so like this was like the hangout room for you and the family. And so we're starting to find out a little bit more and when the last time they actually were there in the house. And by the time they get past the kitchen and we talk about the cabinets and we talk about this, they get to the daughter's room. They're like, oh, well, that was my daughter's. Oh, I have a daughter. How old's yours? And so we're building such massive rapport with people that we're able to get the condition of the property and earn a little bit of trust. Because if I could see everybody's hands and we were like, hey, how many people here have talked to a cold caller for more than 15 minutes in your life? Almost everybody would keep the phone, would keep their hands down. Like these guys are spending 15 minutes with random people whose phones are abused daily. So it speaks to a lot about that. If it is occupied by tenants team, our firm gets when the lease was signed, when the lease expires, when it last increased, and if they missed any payments during COVID. We get the AC, the roof, a mortgage, general repairs that are needed. We get the why, the motivation why they want to sell, closing time frame, bottom line price, and a couple other like marketing analytics. But for us, like, hey man, I can just tell you that if whether it's your VA filling out a form very similar to that, or even an enterprise level company like myself, for all those that are closers in the room, if you had somebody who spent 15 minutes with that person and got a price, and then the person who sent you that lead only got a commission if the starting asking price was under 70%. So in other words, their whole goal is to only generate for you leads under 70% as estimate value. Who wouldn't want a CRM filled with those bad boys? Leads that had all those information points filled out and starting asking price was 52% or 68% or whatever. So that's what we use to kind of pace the lead, Esteban.
Okay. All right. Now you're saying that your callers on average, how long are they taking with a qualified prospect? How long are they taking on the phone?
12 to 17 minutes.
12 to 17 minutes. What happens?
Yeah.
What do you think is happening if someone is taking way too long or took way less than that?
Well, way too long, there is no such thing. I will never, ever, ever fuss at my agents. We have it on one of the walls over there. It says, it takes time to take homes. It is built into my mantras here in the office. Take time, build rapport, earn their trust, convert that lead. So if somebody's spending 35 minutes on the front end with the lead, I love it. Just don't fumble the ball at 34 minutes. Like if I walk by, because we have obviously a dashboard here where we can see how long everybody's been on the calls. But if I see somebody's on the phone for more than 15 minutes, 17 minutes, we'll chime in just to make sure they still have control of that call. But let's be honest, like I just saw a lead come through a little while ago. It's an 87-year-old man who just lost his spouse. Guy probably is going through a lot, doesn't talk very fast. calling him up as a VA, let's say a VA in the Philippines, being like, do you have a house that you like to sell within the next 2 years? Like, you're never going to get that guy unless you slow down, you mirror their pace, you listen to their concerns, you make sure that we're a viable solution, and then you qualify the lead. So take as much time as you want.
Man, you mentioned here the time to build rapport and the time to actually close deals. It takes time to close homes.
Take time to
And
take homes. Yep.
and yeah, exactly. And to take homes. And here every single person that is being developed, they know that they're such a crucial part of the closing organization, because at the end of the day, they're also going to get commission out of the result. And what's the result? A closed deal. So what type of mentality is it? Like, we're not gonna, you guys are not getting commissions out of like live transfers or appointments, right? Or are they getting commissions out of?
They do get commissions for every lead that they send over that's under 70% starting asking price. And they do get to spin a cash wheel every single time an affiliate closes a deal. So like Brandon, when he just announced that, here on the next company break, we'll pull the cash wheel out, we'll spin it. And like the kids will know Brandon's account. Like, we know who closes, right? Like, really gets it. And so they're like, oh, yo, we on Brandon's account right now. Well, let's go, Brandon. Well, not that let's go, Brandon, but you get it. Anyways, but that's not the true incentive. These guys are told from the beginning that their commission isn't the winner. Brandon's commission isn't the winner. It's the community of builders. A lot of Latino builders are in the space. It's the community of builders that once Brandon sells that property or assigns that property, all the families that are going out, the painter that gets to eat, the lawn care guy that gets to eat, the roofer that gets to eat, the flooring guy that gets to eat, and then Barbara Smith, who had her problem solved because of the lead that they sent, because of the work that Brandon did. So they're so future paced as to what their leads do. It's not their commission and it's not Brandon's check. It's what it's going to do to the community. And for them, it's like mind blowing. Like, oh shit, I'm here in the Amazons, right? I'm in the mountains of Colombia. And this one call is going to produce this flurry of activity in a community where a lot of people are going to be able to feed their families because of what I did today. It's strong and it drives them.
So it's really important how your front end marketing people, which are cold callers and also in sales department, they have this type of motivation. Because imagine they don't see the North Star of like, okay, we're closing deals, we're also helping homeowners to get out of these difficult situations. How am I going to level up and going to push forward or just over deliver on this that I'm doing without enough motivation, without enough just let's say I want to say like without enough excuses for them to do their best job and be an A player. And right now you have modeled, I think it's like a tier system. And can we talk about that? The tier system. All right. So your callers are in a tier system. And this is the beautiful thing about it. Like me, I'm about to start cold calling, hitting your real estate investors and I'm just gonna go be like boom, boom, boom. But I understand that the tier system is going to help your cold callers and anyone in your organization to push harder because they're getting a status. So they're getting a status within the organization. And when I say tier system is he has cold callers that if they do X amount of things or happen to resolve this X amount of things, they become part of the elite department.
Yeah.
And that is temporary. So Scott, like a lot for you to like tell us a little bit more.
Yeah. And so I think this works on closers and qualifiers and even remote people, right? And so obviously you want to incentivize people to outperform their colleagues. You want to make steel sharpen steel. You want to have a competitive environment. You want to be able to applaud he or she who really grinds out. And so not only do we have our incubation, like agents stay in incubation for about roughly 60 days before they go to general population, but the top 5 agents above the regular tier agents, the top 5 agents every single month go into a private room back there. You can almost see it a little bit. Private room, much larger desk, their own TV in there. They don't have to clap when everybody gets leads. They got the VIP room. They put their family photos up. They got a higher salary. They got a higher commission rip on their leads. And once you get that desk, you damn sure don't want to lose that desk. Like, you're an elite agent within my organization. And guess where I get closers or nurture agents or SMS agents from? And so for me, it's a really great proving ground because we have like an SMS product and a nurture product with other stuff, but it allows us to go in there and say, okay, here's my guys who are able to graduate to here. Here's the guys that hold seats forever. Like, these are really good guys to help lead in other campaigns. And so for me, it's just a way to incentivize performance, to clearly have everybody see who's the winners. Like, I want an environment here where people don't even want to sit at the same lunch table as the kids that are underperforming. Like, I want them that ruthless here, where it's like, hey, if you're not like hitting your numbers, bro, don't even bring that stink around me. So that's what we're trying to just set up a real good competitive environment.
But they're still family. They're still freaking family. I see it.
Still family, but you know, come on now. Come on. You got to put some numbers on the board. And so they are really good. And we have you know, the opposite side of that too, on underperformance calibrations, but no, we're really blessed with the kind of model that we have set up here.
Yeah. So that model, man, like, have you been doing that for a while, or like you learn it from your timeshare industry?
Yeah. And so I was 20 years old. I was installing security alarms for ADT. If you guys know it, everybody knows what ADT is. So I'm like 20 years old. I had no clue about anything in life. I installed a security alarm at this really fancy place, and I saw these kids like 20 years old wearing suits and ties and driving Mercedes and looking good. And I turned to the guy and I was like, what do you guys do here? He was like, timeshare. I said, what's timeshare? I said, how do I get a job? And those 2 years, first off, it's a very ruthless sales environment. Jeez. Like, those guys get it in that industry, if anything knows. But those 2 years in that space catapulted me further into like the vacation tourism space. And 10 years, the previous 10 years prior to this is exactly what I did, which is I sold leads to attorneys nationwide of a similar distressed cohort. And that's exactly the same model. It's literally, I am agnostic. I don't care about the product per se. All I care about is the vehicle. And I really like your guys' industry. I just stumbled onto it 2 years ago. I was like, boom, insert product here. And for me, I needed to get a CPL that demanded that I had to be offshore. And so that CPL, or cost per lead, is kind of what drove that model to be down here.
So you're saying that anyone that let's say, for example, you're in a different country that is not necessarily Colombia, building the same frameworks and training models and just the, you know, how whatever you're sharing and you're doing right now can be built, and you can do it virtually. Is this something that you definitely are suggesting? Because I see that you chose Colombia because it has a great weather. You have great, let's say, personalities that really are very familiar with the American culture and the Canadian culture. Yep. So they can really be a good fit to anyone's team. Yeah. All right. So we're talking here like South America that are 2 hours and a half, 3 hours away from Florida. And that's an airplane. And we're talking here people that for every vacation that they try to go to the US. And so we have built such an entire, you know, great culture around the US and looking up to all movies, stars, Hollywood and everything, that it just makes sense. And the same time zone actually applies to be in this type of arena. Yeah. So man, like, have you had any trouble with accents? Have you had any trouble with English itself? Like, because a lot of people definitely would call that to try to hire VAs. They have a lot of trouble with that. Yeah.
So when I first started this, I literally outsourced, not even here. I was like in the States, I was like, oh, wholesaling? Oh, buying properties all over the nation. Like, this is great. Like, boom. So like I hired people in the Philippines and then I pivoted to the Egypt. But what I couldn't understand is why in the hell there was chickens in the background, or why every time it rained that they would lose internet or power. I said, what the fuck? Like, this is what the industry is used to? And so I just couldn't believe how terrible everybody's like, yo, get a VA, yo, this is great, you're gonna scale. And then once you start hearing what the shit is, you're like, geez, well, I was like, Jesus, what if you guys are making money off this, I'm gonna really fuck this industry up. So then I hired a guy in Colombia, in Cali, Colombia, and then I loved it because they understood American sarcasm. I couldn't believe it. Right out of the box, he knew if somebody said, I want $1 million, bam, he was right on it. Unfortunately, he just never done anything at scale. So great dude, loved the guy. He had his own little team there. But I was like, I'll just do it myself. Like everybody else, I'll just do it myself. And so I started out for the first 6 months of this enterprise, only doing it for myself. And then it was somebody in Kent Clothier's mastermind who was like, hey man, can I get some of your cold callers? I was like, I guess, like, I don't even know what to charge you. And then like another person found out and another person found out. And I was like, oh, this is a business too, watch out. And so that's kind of how we got here. And that's why I chose South America. I had a really good experience. I thought that the capacity and affinity for, and same thing I think with Mexico, pretty much anything in the Western Hemisphere, they have grown up on American movies. It still is going to feel like America in the 80s or 90s, respectfully speaking. And they understand a lot of the American sarcasm, which is a main thing on the phones during cold calling or doing cold calling.
Oh yeah. And okay, so here we have Jesse again asking the questions. I love that Jesse's asking questions. I love when people ask questions because like it opens up the floor for, you know, good ideas. So can we hear your callers' openings? Like, let's say I imagine it's a script or a monitor thing, but just curious on how and what they say to cold open on a first contact.
Yep. So our pitch is a little bit different because we're not brand specific. So we're calling on behalf of Home Finders Network, which is our brand. But I can tell you some of the main important things is every single call is opened with, hi, first name. Hey, Scott. Hey, Esteban. Hey, Charles. Unequivocally, without a doubt, not, hello, sir. My name is, it's like, yo, hey, Brandon. Hey, Brandon. So for us, that's a big, very like small, simple thing that you guys can do. But it's like, hey man, this is Scott. I'm calling in regards to, or not, hey man, but hey, Dennis, what do you want? How can I help? Who is this? Hey, my name's Scott. I'm calling in regards to your property on Pineapple Street here in Satellite Beach. And so we never use the numbers. We're always like, hey, I'm calling about your property on Pineapple Street here in Satellite Beach. We never say there in Satellite Beach. We went immediately. It's like, yo, Dennis, hey, I'm calling about the property here on Satellite Beach, or here on Pineapple Street, here in Satellite Beach. And for those split seconds, we're a little confused here. Like, yo, you know me too well. You talking about here and here, and it's like, are you my neighbor? Like, you. And so for those couple of seconds, we're fucking with them. We don't know we're a bill collector. We from the city. We're from the state. We're the neighbor. So for us, without going too terribly much deeper, I mean, I can. It's like the reason why I'm calling, our company was hired by a group of local investors here in the area to see if you'd be interested in that all cash offer to sell your home. And then we got all the objections and everything listed out. And anyways, it goes on. But what's kind of the opening? And I can't promise you enough how important those first few sentences are. Like, fuck the cash offer part. Like, hey, Esteban. Hey, man, it's Scott. I'm calling you in regards to your property here in, and people will shut up long enough to hear you talk and see what else you got to say.
Man, this is awesome because for everyone that goes every Wednesday at 1 p.m. here right now and listen to Juan and Hensel Media team here with REI Closers, we learned this as closers, like actual acquisitions. But he's applying this to the cold callers, to the front end. It just makes total sense because now you're actually applying all the sales and closing techniques that you would do as an acquisition, but you're applying it in the front end without committing anything, without, you know, trying to go deeper into like stuff. But I think even here, Scott even teaches his cold callers to even reduce the price more and more until they can. Is that something you do?
Well, but reducing the price is more of a failure because you didn't get a good first starting price. So let's just be honest. You don't want to reduce the price. You want to have built so much value that when they give you the price, that price is good. Then you want to ask for a reduction because there's nothing better than when somebody gives you a 60% price. Like these guys will lose a commission if they get an in-range lead and they don't still ask for a reduction. So I think what we should talk about before we talk about the reduction is how to get a price out of somebody who says, I know this. I know how this works. You give me a price first. No, no, no. I'm not going to tell you how much I want. You call me. You tell me. So we're all going to hear the same bullshit. And so it's genuinely, and there's 3 rebuttals that we use before we box. So we go 3 rebuttals in box. But as soon as we say something like, "Hey, I completely understand, Mr. Seller. I just figured since you're an expert on both on not only your home but also the community or the neighborhood, that you would at least have a ballpark kind of starting asking price that you'd be comfortable hearing an offer around." Blah blah blah. But so as soon as they say no, we say no. I completely. We always want to agree with their objection. Hey, I completely understand. I just figured since you are an expert on not only your home, but also the neighborhood, that you at least kind of had a ballpark starting asking price that you'd be comfortable with. And probably 60% of the time, they're like, yeah. And then if they give us another no, then we'll anchor them, price anchoring. I don't know how detailed we go, but then we'll price anchor. And like, they're like, if they get past the 3rd rebuttal, we're like, I completely understand. It seems to me that investors in the area are currently able to purchase homes similar to yours, anywhere from around, and we'll anchor them 40 to 70%. So if the house is, let's say, ARV 100, we'll anchor them at 40 to 70 and say, and would you be interested in hearing an offer somewhere within that range, sir?
I think it will be great. You know what to do, man. We do this Wednesdays and maybe every other Wednesday where we're one role plays with all of us. I think you have a member here as well. I think Jasenia is joined and everything. She's one of the leads. Is she? Is she here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Uh-oh. You got a camera, Yesenia?
Yes, hold on.
Come
Just
on,
didn't-
show your face.
Jasenia
I didn't know the team was in here. I love
Jasenia
it.
is a Colombian team lead. I think she is a lead here. And I think that we can role play here. Juan, how about you help us here?
Oh
Yeah,
shit!
more
Yesenia's
than
on the
happy to.
spot.
More than happy to.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it. Who's the buyer? Who's the seller?
Whichever you prefer. I'm ready.
Oh, that's right. Yes, you're there. Okay, cool. You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm one of the sellers. Okay, so you gotta be on point.
I
Right.
definitely am.
What type of seller are you gonna be, man? Is it a surprise or
No, she's gonna make a.
No.
No, we don't do that. We don't
Yeah,
do
we
that,
ain't.
Scott.
Let's just
Scott,
roll.
come on.
I don't
we
need-
do
I
that,
don't need
Scott.
that
Let's
thing.
roll.
Scott,
Let's go.
we don't do that, Scott. Come on.
I didn't ask that, bro. Hold on, no. Hold on. Let's clarify. That was Esteban who
No,
asked for
I
a
know.
cheat code.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right, let's go.
Listen, I know what kind of caliber Scott, has on the fire there. He doesn't need any cheat codes and none of that. He knows what he's doing. All right, you ready?
Yeah, I'm definitely ready. Let's go.
Hello?
Hey, it's John.
Yeah, who's this?
Hi, this is Jasenia with Home Finders Network. I'm calling you in regards to your property, 123 Main Street.
What about it?
Well, the reason why I'm calling is because we have a group of local investors in that area that is interested in possibly purchasing properties, obviously in that area.
Did anyone tell you that I was looking to sell? Do I have a sign in front of my door?
Well, that's funny. No, you really actually don't. We just wanted to see homeowners in that area that might be interested in possibly just a cash offer for their property.
Okay, what's your offer?
Okay, great question. Well, in order to formulate that offer, I'm just going to ask you a few questions about the condition of the property, if that's okay.
How long is this gonna take?
It actually will take only 2 to 3 minutes of your time, and I promise you that it will be well worth it.
Okay, so shoot, what do you got?
Okay, so it is 123 Main Street, right? Here in New Jersey?
Yeah, that's my address.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about the condition of the property. I know that it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, it seems about 1,500 square feet.
Yes, that's about right.
Okay, I like that color outside your house. I'm right now looking at the satellite. That's like what, whitish with that brick?
Yes, that's my house. You saw it on
Oh.
Google?
No, we actually use a very specific platform that shows us very good satellite images, let's say from the outside, obviously, that's why I'm asking about your property inside.
Yeah, okay. I mean, my house is in really great shape. I mean, what else would you like to know? I did a remodel of my house. It's in perfect condition. There's really no issues here.
Okay, okay, I got it. And when was that remodel?
That was back, let's see, in 2020. That was 2016. I did everything.
Everything. Okay. And what happened to the house? Why did you do a remodel about 6 years ago?
Well, you know what they say, happy life, happy wife.
Oh, okay. So basically it was all your wife that did that all the work? Well, basically
Yeah,
what she wanted.
whatever she wanted, she got it.
Well, I would love to have a husband like you.
Oh, I mean, if I ever get divorced, I'll let you know.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much. And like, is she happy with everything that was done to the property?
Over the moon.
Okay. And how long have you guys been married?
Oh, 22 years.
22 years. Okay. Well, my parents have almost 30 years. So they say it's difficult sometimes, but it's well worth it.
Yeah, so far so good, unless she kills me.
And I don't think so. And how many kids you got?
Got 3 kids.
Oh, nice. My parents only had two girls. How about
No,
yourself?
lucky them. Lucky them.
Why'd you say that?
After 2, it becomes a little complicated.
I think that's why my mom said no to my father. All right. So I know that so this house, why are you possibly interested in selling? I know that you redid it 6 years ago.
Well, I'm not considering selling. You guys called and said that you had an offer and you have potential investors. So, it'll be crazy not to listen to an offer.
Got it. So it's just something that you might be interested in.
No,
Has your
if the offer is right, anything is for sale except my wife and kids.
That's what my boss says, but my boss doesn't say that about his wife and his kids.
Well, to each his own, I guess.
I guess so. I guess so. All right. So we were talking about your property. You know that you redid it. So did you do like everything, AC, roof, painting?
Yep, painted everything. Got newer plumbing. The house is built in 1956, so we redid that. We redid the roof. We did obviously the kitchens, flooring, spotlights, the whole thing, painted inside and out. Fantastic property.
Fantastic property. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna write that down here. Okay. So I know that you said like obviously you're just interested in possibly a cash offer, and I get it. But other like if you were to sell this house, right? I know that your wife is very happy with it, but other than just the cash offer, why would you be interested in possibly just hearing an offer? And if you hear an offer, you might sell it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, and the market's hot right now, and I hear people are paying over market value, and just curious. You just never know. So I'll listen to an offer. I get these type of calls all the time, and so you just never know. Right, the offer is good enough, I'll sell it.
I've heard that a lot. I've heard a lot of people saying the same thing. Like I've talked to many people, but sometimes it's just not like our investors, you know? We always get the best investor in that area that can offer you the best.
Okay.
So
So you have an offer?
yeah, I'm just finalizing these questions. I wanted to know, like, if it was something that obviously worked for both parties, you and our investor, how soon would you be looking into selling that property?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it really depends on the offer, to be quite honest with you. I mean, if the offer is so good to, not to refuse, then I'm ready to move in like, tomorrow. But it all depends.
Okay, so if it's something that works for both, you would say basically as soon as possible.
Yeah, just again, if it's a make me move type of, offer, yes, absolutely. I'll move right away.
Well, I imagine that it has to be because obviously, like you said, your wife has to be happy about it. It's not only
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. And then we have to find another house to find for her to like.
Yeah, I get it. All right. So I just wanted to let you know a little bit about our investors. Okay. So our investors actually will buy your property as is. So you're not going to have to, I know you redid your house, but I imagine painting needs to be redone, stuff like that. So you're not going to have to do anything to your property. Also, our investors actually pay all the thousands of dollars in closing costs. So you're not going to have to worry about that. And like you must know, realtors ask you for commissions, like selling your house and actually having to pay somebody to publish it in the MLS and getting a buyer, like, and paying them maybe 15,000-20,000 just to publish your property and have appointments in your house. Like, that's crazy to me. So you're not going to have to worry about paying that money. Okay.
Okay.
So knowing all of these benefits, and obviously the most important one is that if they give you an offer, they will be willing to pay you cash, closing as soon as possible. Knowing all of these benefits, what is a price you'd be interested in selling your property for?
I mean, I was hoping you guys would give me an offer.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
So I was hoping you guys would give me an offer. What do you think you guys can pay for my house?
Oh, got it. Well, the reason I asked is because I need to pair you with the right investor. Plus, John, my goal is to get you the highest possible offer with your help. So what would you say is a reasonable price?
Well, right now, properties in my neighborhood are selling for about $700,000.
So you say properties are selling for $700,000.
That's
Okay.
right. Per
So
neighbor
I'm
down the
asking,
street just sold his house. Mm-hmm.
okay, sorry. So I was asking you, obviously, like properties, well, around my house, property can sell for whatever. But I'm asking you, what would you say is a price you'd be interested in selling your property for?
Yeah, if I can get somewhere close to that 700, I'll sell it.
Interesting. And how'd you come up with that actual offer?
Yeah, like I said, the neighbor across the street has a similar house. Mine's is in better condition, has better upgrades, and he sold with less than offer within 10 days of listing it, and he closed on it for 700,000. So I
Oh,
figured those are the numbers for my neighborhood.
got it. And that's 567 Main Street, right?
That's it.
Got it. Okay. Because I do see here that it's actually, that's a bigger property than yours. It's actually a 5-bedroom and 3-bath. It has a pool also. So, and I know that yours doesn't. So we all have to take that into consideration. And the square feet is bigger.
Mhm.
So that's why they sold for 700,000, right? And
Right.
and it's actually right in front of that gas station. So it might be even possibly commercial property, you know? So let me ask you, like taking that into consideration, that it's bigger, it's has a pool, and obviously it is in somewhat zoned commercial or in front of a gas station, which gives it a little bit more of a better eye view into people. What would you consider that would be a fair price for your property that doesn't have those qualifications like theirs?
Sure. Like I said, need to move.
Sorry?
Urgency, and so it's okay that the neighbor sold or he has a bigger house, but in order for me to even consider an offer, it has to be um, about 700,000, and the prices are going up.
Okay. Well, I just want to look right now, right? And a property just like yours, and it's actually that 789 Main Street. It's about 2 blocks away from your house, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath. It was remodeled in 2020, so it was only 2 years ago that it was remodeled, It actually sold for 640,000.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. So I was right now looking, trying to pair your property with some of our investors. And in that area, just like property like yours, it seems like our investors are willing to offer with no, no, no closing costs, no commissions, as is for from the bottom price from 450,000
Huh.
all the way up to 600,000.
Well, I guess they can keep their cash.
So would you not be interested in a possible price in that range?
I wouldn't even bother.
Why would you say that?
Because like I said, I don't need to sell my house.
Mhm.
I have nothing wrong with my house. I don't have to move anywhere. You guys called to make an offer. I told you where I need to be. And if you guys cannot come up to that number, well, then we're just wasting each other's time.
Hello, Juan. Juan, are you there, sir?
Yes, sir.
Hi, sir. My name's Scott Morse. I'm the director here at Home Finders Network. The young lady that you were just on the phone with, Yesenia, she had sent me a message saying that you were a really cool guy. She just messaged me, but that it just didn't seem like our investors' price point was going to be a good fit. Is that more or less what's happening, sir?
That's it.
I understand perfectly. I get it. And number one, I just thank you for treating her so nice and being professional to her on the phone. We're not a good fit for everybody. And listen, the market's on fire, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and so like for us in the business perspective, it's like this weird catch-22 right now where like we got investors who are wanting to invest, sellers that are looking to sell, but particularly people with large portfolios. You don't happen to have more properties than this one, do you?
No, sir. This is my only property.
Okay, all right. So I think the reason why our business is pivoting on more to portfolio people trying to sell, I think it's just a risk exposure, right? Like, I don't know, maybe you could comment, but we keep on having people that have like 10, 20, 40 doors and up trying to divest their property right now. I guess while it's at the peak of the peak, is that kind of your thoughts as well too? That, you know, that if you were to get rid of it, you'd want to get rid of it now at the peak of the peak before, you know, potentially something goes crazy with inflation and stuff out there as bad as it's getting?
I'll be honest with you, Scott. You know, like I said, you guys called me. I get these type of calls all the time. I really don't have much of a reason to sell
Motivation.
other than for, you know, a make me move type of thing. You know, it's just got to be well worth it for me.
No, I get it, man. I get it. It's a bit of timing and circumstance. I think for us, and I won't take up too much more of your time, it's like for some people, getting out of the property has to be a convenience factor, but it also has to be a good timing play. And so if you're not one of those people who think, hey, listen, the market has to be past its peak. We're on the other side of the peak. And the reason why the large players are getting rid of their portfolios today is because they see something in the tea leaves that the average consumer doesn't see, then we're likely not going to be a good fit. But I think that these people who have the big money, man, I think the reason why they're getting rid of the properties right now at such like a rapid pace is, you know what my contractors told me the other day? He said, Scott, the reason why we can't offer as much as we did last month, it's not just the gas prices it takes to power the generators and power the backhoe and everything else, but it's inflation has made it so bad that our profit margins are going down. And so again, maybe it won't affect you, and God bless you. I hope the market continues to accelerate. But I'm telling you, there's a contraction out there. So yeah, I wish we could have helped you, and you know, maybe you'll be right and the market will continue to go north and there won't be another 2008. But at least what I'd like to do is put an offer in your hands, maybe a little bit more closer to yours. And that way you can, you know, at least consider that and speak with the investor in regards to that. Would it be okay if I at least got them to put an offer in your hands, even if it isn't the exact dollar value you're looking for now? Are you open to talking to them about the property?
Sure.
And let me ask too, have you ever considered your mortgages? You said you've owned it for X amount of years.
Oh yeah, we've been here for 20 something years.
I just had one of the guys, and it looks like it's who you'd be matched with. He was saying something the other day about like, hey, if we can't give them their price, if they'll give us our term, something along terms like, hey, you could potentially be the bank. I don't know. It's a little over my pay grade, but like I try to calibrate with all of our investors. So I'll put it over. Listen, our guys can't pay more than retail, period. End of story. I can't pay more than what it's worth. They can't. But listen, if we're able to help you at least analyze the opportunity to get out of the property before the market collapses, and analyze the property, get out of it before something crazy else in the world happens, because Jesus, COVID and World War III pending, like, I don't know what's going to break the market, but one day it just might daggone break. So if it's okay with you, man, I'm going to submit you over. I'm going to tag it as that your price isn't probably the best for like an all cash as is offer. But hopefully you guys can at least come to some type of terms. And if it fits, it fits. If not, man, I appreciate you being so cool with me. I appreciate you being so cool with the young lady that you were talking to earlier. And if we are able to help you, maybe this will be the last time you get one of these calls about the house.
All right. Well, awesome.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it. You have a wonderful day, sir.
All right.
All right. Have a
Take care.
kick-ass day. All right. Talk to you. Bye. Boom.
That was
Whatever.
good. That was good.
Whatever.
Wow,
So if he's going to be that retail, he gets tagged as full retail in my system. He gets scored at the shittiest score that we give, but I'd still post it to the CRM. I just don't get any credit for that. Then I also tag him that he may be eligible for some type of terms deal.
Yep.
And he's a bit of a jackass. Not actually Juan, but he's like, is a bit, I'm
No,
on my full
Juan too.
retail.
Juan too.
Wow, wow, wow. No, Juan's a cool guy. And so it's just like, bro, like, you really think the fucking market's going to keep on collapse? Okay, smart guy. It's going to keep on increasing. It's not going to collapse. So
those are the first ones to give you a deal. They're the first ones to give you a deal when you call back when the shit's, taking the tank. So,
okay. Wow. Scott, I actually detailed a lot of things here from this conversation. First, okay, before I forget, I saw how in the background, some of the guys were actually doing the exact same thing that you did just now, where they are basically transferring over to somewhere more of a higher level, or manager or supervisor, whatever that is, or a supervisor is actually giving tips to the caller that is potentially, getting the same type of rebuttals over and over like Juan is doing. But like, man, I really want to understand the importance and the whole tactic and strategy here, because I saw that obviously Yesenia is highly capable. Like, obviously she's a better closer than even, I'm sorry, some of you guys.
yeah.
And Yesenia, she's highly capable of also continuing this conversation. However, you did come in here as a higher authority to be able to kind of shift the conversation to see here exactly what else can be done. It's not like Yesenia was not capable. It's like you have systemized your creative processes around these little takeovers.
Yeah,
So,
it stands for TO, it's turnover. And also, so TO, like, those two letters should print you money, turnover. And I'll talk about the fundamental and then I'll be a smart ass. But the real reason why I love TOs is because sellers are liars.
Yep.
And they'll box themselves into a fucking price. They'll box themselves into a fucking objection. And then if they now say, yes, I'll actually take $550 for it. One of the reasons why they won't say it, because they don't want to be a liar. But
Right.
as soon as that second person picks up here's that headset, they're like, oh God, I've been waiting to get this off my chest. Yes, I'll take $550.
Yeah. Yep. It happens all the time.
wow.
It
Second
happens
voice
all
is
the
key.
time.
Hey, I need engagement, guys. So everyone that absolutely freaking loved that role play of Juan and Yesenia and then Scott, just hit a 1 in the chat. I want to really see a number 1 here in the chat, in the Zoom chat. I also want to make sure that people are not sleeping, because if you guys are sleeping on this, like, I don't know what the hell you guys are doing. You guys need some Colombian coffee.
Yeah. No, she look.
Hey,
man,
Esteban, can I ask a question quick?
Go ahead.
100%.
You go first.
So, I'm sorry. Is it all right, Juan?
Yeah, go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
Okay. So, two things. Scott, with all due respect, Yesenia, can I marry you? Because that's like what every person in my position, like, I dream of finding somebody that could talk like that. But when you did the take, so I come like you, Scott, I kind of come from like a direct sales background.
Yes.
So with us, like, we always call it like a takeover close. When you chime in like that, do you normally just do like a hard interruption, or do you normally have them do like a warm up, like, hey, I'm on the phone with my manager Scott. I'm on the phone with Juan. Juan absolutely loves the idea of selling the house. We're trying to struggle. Like, do you have them kind of summarize it so that they realize you weren't listening, or do you just boom right into it?
Great question. On my closers, it's more set up because it's actually part of the consultation.
Okay.
On my fronting, I'm like trying to salvage or save, or I'm like, fuck, let me just get in here. Or like, I don't want her to keep on beating her head against the wall either, because then it becomes a morale issue. She gets defeated. And so like these, I'm way more aggressive on, because in the front end, I haven't spent 45 minutes on the phone with, I don't even know if they're a good person. So I'm a lot more aggressive on these. And I also love it. Like I had somebody comment on the other day, like, why don't they just transfer you the call? I'm like, because I want to sit at that fucking person's cubicle. I want to hand them the headset. They're listening now, and I'm sitting down, and they just see me sitting in the exact place doing the exact same thing, and all of a sudden converting that lead. It means something to them to see somebody come in and do it right there.
It gives that social proof.
Yeah.
Well, I'd also say this. I think that's a phenomenal strategy, just because Jasenia is extremely, or I would say all your people are highly qualified. And if they are dealing with someone that's such a-hole or such a hard close, she could move on to another call that would better suit, right, the potential of creating the lead. Why? I mean, she's doing everything that she can, right? But this guy wasn't really going anywhere. So I'd much rather have my people go get more food, go get more leads, right?
Yep.
Not continue to deal with this jackass.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I concur. Yeah, and the advantage is this is a volume play, so we really don't spend time with jackasses. We're doing 2 million outbound dials a week, north of that now. So it's like, it's a volume play, but he's absolutely correct. But again, this TO part, literally we could do a whole hour-long training on best practices for TOs and TO, but this right here will make you money. And literally, you can, if you guys have watched Boiler Room, and I know you have, and if you haven't, fucking bail out now and watch that, or watch Wall Street, right? But you can be anybody you fucking want on the phone. So when I hop on the phone, I am the owner, right? But hey, I'm senior vice president. I'm regional director. I'm fucking anybody. You put the janitor on the phone, give them a job title, and that second voice just carries so much weight. Every Karen's done it at every fucking restaurant. I want to speak to the manager. The guy didn't say anything different. He said, I'll give you the same free fucking cupcake that she said she would give you, but you just love talking to authority.
Right. It's facts. I mean, that I'm telling you, Scott is spot on with everything that he has got going on there. This guy is a fucking true sales person. I do this with my teams all the time, and my clients that are making calls. I can literally hear a client's call right now. They hang up, get stuck on their rebuttal. I call right back, and I'll get another fucking lead or the deal.
Yep.
From the second voice. That's all it is.
Yes. Guys,
Can I talk about, I'm so sorry, Esteban. Real quick, another second voice thing that you guys are screwing up on is not getting reductions. Some of you guys are scared to get reductions. Some of you guys don't go in and get reductions. Whatever your issues with reductions, when it's the senior underwriter for the East Coast Division calling back because the photos or the fucking whatever, using a second voice on price reduction, drop it like it's hot, baby.
Yep. Leaving tens of thousands of dollars on the table.
Yep.
Guys, so we're here 30. We started with 45, but I need you guys to stay until the end, because what we have is we have given you guys probably thousands of dollars in value right now, but we want to give you guys more. I want to give you 1,000 more. So stay until the end. I want to make sure that you guys get everything. We've gone through 1 hour and 20 minutes, but it's time to actually ask questions, and it's time to actually, go into like maybe some of the things that you want to really find out, but Scott potentially hasn't covered. And at the end of this, I'm going to give you guys something. So it's worth $1,000. It's worth $1,000. And I want to give you guys something. Remember that this call is not recorded. So if you guys are here, actually it's being recorded, but it's not being put in the membership. So if you guys are here, you guys are freaking lucky. And we will potentially have more of this coming up. And also listen to Scott's podcast, in our podcast, Online Hustlers Podcast with Esteban Andrade. Scott is in there. So there's a lot of nuggets that he also threw in there. But here right now, is just stay here until the end. Because it's a must, $1,000 on value that we're going to give you. So,
Esteban, what's the name of your podcast?
Online Hustlers Podcast by Esteban Andrade. So Online Hustlers Podcast with Esteban Andrade.
It's a great
And my other
podcast. He's a
question
great
was-
interviewer. Yeah.
Scott, my other question for you is, Scott, can you hear me? Okay. My other question for you is, if we were migrating from the callers that we've been using, which we've mostly done in Philippines and Egypt, and we were trying to see if we would possibly be a good fit for you guys. Are you open to new clients right now? Or is it something you can discuss, or how can we? I've been trying to like take pictures of the back of your sweatshirt to write down the name of your company.
LamasuLeads.com. The only thing I ask of all you guys, the best part about my job is I enjoy talking so much reckless shit about this industry. So if you're on Instagram, for God's sakes, please find and follow at LamasuLeads.com. Here in a few minutes, and it's actually, I'm going back to, we're locking down as we speak a 33,000 square foot office. I am going to fucking destroy, in the most pleasant professional way, this industry. It's just going to, it's in the process, et cetera, et cetera. So LamasuLeads.com, anybody can submit a form. Yeah, I'm taking clients. I'm really careful about my avatar. I want to make sure it's the right time with the right people, that they have systems and processes in place. Because from a brand integrity standpoint, like me and Esteban talked about this a lot. Like when we both got in, like our bar was very, very low, and like it's, as a business, it's constantly rising. But yeah, I mean, we share the same cohorts. But yeah, man, just reach out to me on the website and
actually go to hustlemedia.com/outbound because you guys are gonna get the $1,000 process free. What is it? What is $1,000?
Listen, so if you go to his link, but still at least follow me on Instagram, but you got to go to his link, because anybody that goes to his link, what do they get? They get 1,000 free dials a day is what me and you negotiated for your people specifically.
There you go.
1,000 free dials a day. If somebody ends up signing up with me through Esteban's link, all the prices and everything else is the same. It's just like, yo, these guys are going to bang on an extra like 22,000. Dude, our smallest package, I think Dial's smallest package is like, I don't know, 60,000, 70,000 dials a month right now. Like, we put in work on these accounts. So yeah, anyways, it's a long fucking answer to, just hit me up.
I already
There's a
followed
wait
you on
line.
Instagram. I'll shoot a
follow Scott Morse at LamasuLeads, or at Scott Morse as well. You're gonna see that in my Instagram. I also am gonna be putting some of the content, because we went inside of this call center. I wish we can literally do a freaking tour of the call center here, but like it's, as you see it in the background, it's
way into the 30,000 square foot facility that he's getting. Watch.
Wait till I see that.
He's getting a freaking manufacturing plant.
I'm gonna move there, and that's going to be my office, Scott's place.
This guy is getting a manufacturing plant instead of manufacturing cars. He's gonna be freaking buying houses.
It's an airport. It's a fucking airport. Let's just be honest.
It's a freaking airport.
All right. So other questions, guys. This is unique for me. So if you have any questions, let's fucking knock them out, and then I want to get back to generating leads.
Guys, let's get Scott a shout out. Let's go to an Instagram. Actually, if you can just do this for us, just record here a story or whatever that is, tag LamasuLeads, say tell us how you liked it and everything. Tag me as well at Estenic, so that we can get Scott the attention and everything that he deserves, because he's just an animal and he's a dragon that he needs to be seen. All right, and everyone needs to be getting this type of value, the ones that deserve it, but obviously. All right. So please do that. Follow Scott on Instagram. Give us a shout out if you liked it. Tag LamasuLeads and also Estenic. And the same thing. Go to our Facebook group and just tell us how you freaking loved it. Take a picture of this if you want, and just tell us how you loved it. Here, Derek, he has a question.
Yeah, you provide the skip tracing. How's it going, Scott?
Don't I know you?
Yeah, we had a meeting. We had a meeting yesterday.
Did you miss it?
Yeah, I was putting gas.
This guy.
And stuff, so.
I can't answer your question today, then.
Yeah. Well,
no, just kidding. Skip tracing. I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah. So you guys, you're providing all the information I wanted to know about. That's awesome. Here. So skip tracing, you guys provide all of that and do all of that stuff and do all the research and everything else. That was
Yeah, and it's no disrespect, but so behind all the sales bluster, like the because that's like obviously a core competency of mine. It should be at least. But I'm a nerd, and so like I just understand the analytics and the platforms and stuff. But most of my clients are like my best friends, and they're just flat out cavemen. So my whole thing is like, yo, if you can only be one thing, you can be a good data person or a good qualifier or a good closer. I only want to work with the guys who are good closers. I'm gonna do the rest. So yes, you can get data through anybody else, but the whole point is like, yo, I'm gonna get my data through you. I ain't gonna research. I ain't gonna do that shit. You just put me in the hot zip codes with the hottest cohorts, bam. And you just do all the qualifying, and I'm gonna do what my God-given talent is, which is turning fucking leads into money. And so that's it. So that's yes.
okay.
Again, long answers. I'll do it all for the clients, and you just got to close deals.
And I have launch control ready. So you would just use our launch control and you rock and roll it pretty much.
So we have a launch control managed service. That's in addition to our call center service. And again, I want to educate more than pitch. So anybody can reach out to me, but yeah, we do a launch control managed service. I love, for everybody who's in this space, I think it's one of my favorite. They just passed another fucking rule today though. They just passed something nonsense today. Anyways, but other than that, yeah, man, we're here to help people get out of the busy work and only do income producing activities.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, brother.
I'm sorry, Derek, that you're putting gas. You shouldn't have. Gas is way too expensive, man. Kidding.
Get a Tesla next time.
Don't miss your freaking meetings, guys. Don't miss your freaking meetings.
I have a Tundra, so it took forever.
Don't miss your freaking meetings.
No, I just remember the name. It's such a cool name. I was like, damn, that's a unique last name. It's got to be him. All right, cool.
All right, guys. Any more questions? Or is there anything that you want to squeeze from Scott? He's a huge ass lemon. He can be squeezed right now.
Squeeze my lemons, boys.
I'm kidding. All right. So you have him right now here. So any questions that you want to ask about cold calling, frameworks, building out your team, compensating, the systems, the dialers, anything. All right. He is ready to be given the juice. So it's your time, guys. No questions. All right. All right. So
One-stop shop. That's all it is.
Everyone's got to figure it out.
One-stop shop. That's all these people need to know. And I think he said it right, focus on the main objective, which is locking up deals. If you're not a master marketer, if you're not a master caller, if you don't have the discipline, let's just say you just started or have been in the game for a little bit, but you're inconsistently doing deals, I bet you it's because you're not putting in the discipline of making these calls that must be made day after day, hour after hour, minute after minute. And that's why you have the inconsistency, where Scott is providing you quality data, quality people, all the training is being done for those that are already running maybe their own VA service. Now, instead of you focusing on closing deals, you need to spend an hour or so reviewing calls, training your VAs and making sure that they're happy and that their internet is working, that they're submitting the amount of leads, that the quality of leads are there. Now you're babysitting all day long and you can't get to what your real core is, which is closing freaking deals. So hand that off to a professional. Call a one-stop shop. Esteban Andrades, and go ahead and reach out to Scott and let them do the marketing. This is what these people study. This is what these people geek out on.
Guys, one thing that I also have to chime in here. It doesn't matter the marketing channel that you currently have right now. Like if you have PPC or referrals, a really high quality, top performing cold caller. If you guys are not doing what you guys are supposed to do after the lead was transferred, after the lead was booked an appointment with you, or just sent to your CRM, if you guys are not quickly following up, you guys are not actually following the sales processes that work, you guys are not managing your pipeline, you guys are not nurturing your leads, especially that, you know, everything comes down to like how you're going to treat your business as a you know, as a freelance, as a this side thing, or as an actual business. I had a client that for 3 months had a really well performing campaign, and we saw his CRM. None of the leads have been put in the right order, in the right spot, with the right tags, or followed up. There's so many leads in the responded pipeline because these guys have texted back, called back, or emailed back, and there is zero response. Or if there's a response, it's like ages after, a few hours or days, and there is opportunities that are lost. So you're basically losing money. And I have to actually be this guy because we are responsible of our part, that's for sure, but we also are passionate about giving our clients success and are giving our clients like the best that we got, because we have built businesses that are highly successful. So it's only makes sense for us to also just put this and transfer this together to all our partners, clients, whatever we call it. Scott calls it affiliates, but it's also on you. So it doesn't matter which marketing channel and how effective or qualified the lead comes in. If you guys are not doing all of these things, like, you guys are still not going to close deals or scale.
I'll add 2 cents real quick. And I know this is all about fronters, but I just checked our closer report. Honest to God, I didn't look at it yet today. It's the first day of the month, but we did 67 wholesale contracts last month. I can promise you there's only but a few people in this whole vertical out there running numbers like that. And I got 100 or almost 100 some agents here generating leads. That's just mine. I probably account for 250 deals a month nationwide between all my affiliates. With that being said, the reason why this industry is so disruptible, and the reason why I think that it's got a lot of a poser mentality, if you will, is because you can be a hobbyist and still pay your bills. But entrepreneurs can dominate. You guys and gals pick up the phone, hustle while you wait, grind the fuck out, sweat while you're on the phones. Like, there's some real deal opportunity here for you guys and gals out there. And so I'm just really proud of those out there who are like really disciplined, grinding out, have KPIs, have a nurture system. And if you don't have it yet or in the process of building it, because this is the land of opportunity, and you can do it from anywhere in the world that you want to do it. So I'm super happy that I found your guys' vertical. And for those guys and gals I'll build relationships and friendships and maybe affiliates with, like, I really look forward to working with you.
Awesome. So we have, man, I really like that, man. I appreciate you so much. We have actually Keith, who is a virtual assistant from the Philippines that actually came in here to actually take a training on this. Here Keith is having a question.
He wants to know what happens when the customer says they want to think about the offer.
Okay.
This is on the closer side. This is going to go over a lot of people's heads because I'm going to say it so fast. But the reality is, when they want to think about the offer, there's probably other issues you haven't addressed. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole. There's probably not enough urgency created. We're not going to necessarily go down that rabbit hole. But one of the things that you can help them understand is that your company has a limited amount of funds. And when you guys do make an offer, you're reserving those funds for that transaction today. And we have a very fancy way that we do it, but the customer understands that once we've gone through the qualification, this is on our closing, not our qualifying, but the customer understands once we make them that offer, if I make you an offer for $475,000, that means that nobody on my office can buy $475,000 worth of houses right now because I've reserved that money. I am justifying, this is the long way, I am justifying the fact that, hey, once I make this offer, it's fair, right? I'm not using these words, but this is the feeling that it's fair that I've earned the right to get a yay or nay now. I don't want to be back. I don't want to maybe. I don't want to talk about it. But once you've built enough value, created urgency, and justified the reason why, if you can get them qualified and they do get a cash offer, that it damn sure just makes sense to both of us, the seller and the buyer, that they give me a fair, and we'll take a no just as graciously as we do a yes. But I need an answer now, because if you tell me I need 5 days to think about it, that's $475,000 worth of houses that I'm not buying somewhere else. And I could go to Detroit and fucking buy a whole neighborhood. So that's how we justify getting prices done today.
Awesome. That's awesome. Hey, so the surprise and the end thing. So we have different things. I decided, and I already wrote down who is in here. The people that came in here and stayed for this long are going to be having the recording in the membership. Only the people are in here. And also, we want to give you guys 1,000 dials a day extra when you guys book an appointment with hustlemedia.com/outbound. So hustlemedia.com/outbound. This is our cold calling partner, our outbound marketing partner, this agency that is like, you see, it's from my country that I feel so proud about talking to. And Scott, who is actually the captain here of this ship, is having a tremendous business that is going to like put a lot of zeros to the right on your revenue. So please book a call with Scott. He doesn't take everyone. He has a wait list, and he only takes people that have a specific criteria. I mean, his own specific criteria. So be prepared to talk with Scott, because right now he's still taking sales calls, so he can smell through the BS. All right, guys. So that's all. And if you
Thank
guys,
you for the opportunity.
if you guys can give us a shout out, yeah, go for it.
You're the man. I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to speak with the group. I'm super impressed by where you've at in your short period of time. I've learned a significant amount for you. So just publicly and record it. You're the man, and I look forward to scaling with you as well, buddy.
Awesome.
Hey,
So
thanks
everyone
so much,
that is
Scott.
in here, what's up, Jesse?
No, I was saying thank you so much, Scott, for the great content.
All right. Yeah,
All right,
man.
you're very
like,
welcome.
I love that role play, and everyone that is in here gets a
But
membership.
Juan's the man. Juan's the tough seller. He fucked us up. He was trying to get me dancing. I had to take over a call today. Shit.
I love it. I love it.
So
I'm,
you're the
I'm glad
man.
you got in there. I'm glad
Yeah.
you get in there. No, you guys are rocking it out. I appreciate you guys as
Dude,
well.
I
man.
love learning and watching you as well too. You guys have a good one.
Yes. Have a good one,
All
guys.
right, bye,
Take
guys.
care now.
Take care. Don't forget to give us a shout on Instagram and Facebook. See you guys.